So many of you have heard, if not all of you have heard, about Mr. Uppmeyer's story that he's told about there was two of his friends were going out hunting. They were younger teenagers. When they were hunting, one of them decided that they were going to cross one of the fences, and that was fine. And then the second one went to go across the fence, and he tripped and ended up shooting the other kid in the back. He had spent 6 months in the ER, and so today, I'll talk about the preventions, to how to prevent accidents, the education, and to prevent the violence with firearms. I believe that a gun safety class would be a great opportunity for students. It would teach students how to safely operate a firearm. There would be less accidents and more knowledge that could prevent these accidents if there was a class for this. It would also teach about the different uses of a firearm, whether it be hunting or sport shooting. Another very important thing that it would teach is positive ways to deal with anger and also other ways to deal with bad situations. So I'm going to start with preventing accidents. Gun safety for kids. A lot of the accidents that happen among kids or young teens was preventable. It was an accident. So if they would have known what to do and what not to do with that firearm, then that accident wouldn't even have occurred. These are some facts. A child is injured or killed by a gun every 30 minutes. Gun violence is the second leading cause of death in children and teens. And 2,694 kids from 1 to 19 were killed by guns. This is a survey from 2010 because that was the earliest survey the earliest statistics I could find on it. That was the last time that they did any statistics on it. But 18,270 kids were killed or injured by guns in 2010, which is the equivalent of 913 classrooms of 20 kids. 3,000 kids or teens are killed each year, and 7,000 are sent to the ER with severe injuries due to gunshot wounds. And it said in all these statistics and everything, that many of these deaths and injuries were unintentional and could have been prevented. And it talked about how some of the kids obviously touched the gun, they weren't taught not to, they didn't know, and they ended up shooting someone and killing them or sending them to the ER with severe injuries because of not knowing something. And we need to acknowledge the issue because obviously that's a lot of children or younger teens that are being killed or are being severely injured. If we can stop this or prevent these accidents from occurring, if we were to acknowledge it, we could prevent that, and I think that this class could help with that. Education. Other things that this class will be teaching or having in it is the hunter safety course, which this is an excellent course. It teaches different safeties of a gun, how they work, what to do, what not to do, different things on hunting. This course would also be kind of a prerequisite for if they want to go into any sports. Like, for instance, our school offers a trap shooting team, and I'm in that trap shooting team, and you have to take the hunter safety course before you can even think about being in it. And if kids were to take this in this class, then they would be able to possibly transfer over into trap shooting. There's a lot of different shooting sports. There is trap shooting, skeet shooting, position shooting, bench rest, sporting clays, hunting, precision shooting, and silhouette shooting. This is just a slide of the different sports there are and different things you can do. And there are actually 19 million people that are in sport shootings or some type of sport that has to do with firearms. I surveyed throughout the school teachers and I surveyed students. I talked to a class of about 20 students, but then I saw a few other people in a different class and talked to them. So all around together, about 30 students. I surveyed them and asked them, how do you feel about there being a gun safety class in the school? And I couldn't find one student that thought it was a bad idea. I also surveyed teachers, and 16 out of 18 teachers liked the idea. Even the principal thought it was a good idea. And the two teachers that said they didn't think it was a good idea was mostly because they didn't think that there would be enough things to cover over a whole trimester, and that was the main reason. They said, I don't think it's going to be able to cover that much, so I would have to say no. So you can pretty much say almost all the teachers thought it would be a good idea. They agreed that it was a big issue and it needed to be prevented in some way. And it also could help towards the future. If a student was wanting to be in law enforcement, it could almost be as a prerequisite for that. Like, I want to be in law enforcement. I know friends who want to be in law enforcement, and they thought that it would be awesome if there was a class, that taught towards things for that. Taught safeties, what to do in this situation, a bunch of different stuff. My third point is that it would prevent violence with firearms. This class will teach how to deal with anger positively and what to do in different bad situations, because sometimes people don't know what to do, so they may use a firearm. And that's why this class will also be having a self-defense part where we'll have someone come in and teach self-defense, because a firearm is your very last resort in anything, and kids need to know that if they know how to maybe do different self-defense tactics, then they wouldn't have to resort in using a gun. In conclusion, I believe that having a gun safety course in the high school is a great opportunity for students to learn the safeties of a firearm and other defense tactics, also sports. Therefore, the school should offer a gun safety class.
All right.